Hello everybody, it's Anna here again today, and today we are at PLAS MAWR in Conwy in Snowdonia in North Wales, and we're going to be hearing some history and also have a little bit of Welsh language and Welsh pronunciation. So come along and join us. You are very, very welcome. Don't forget, welcome in Welsh is croeso. Though this seems to be the front of the house on Conwy High Street, it's actually not. The house's main frontage is discreetly hidden away in a steep narrow lane. So this high street gatehouse only hints at the grandeur within. So let's have a look inside. And as we do, I'll tell you some history as we look around. Now, take note of the plaster work in the house as we go around, because that's going to be very important to what I tell you in a little while. So PLAS MAWR is Britain's finest townhouse of the golden Elizabethan age, and never was a building better named. PLAS MAWR, or the Great Hall, is quite simply the finest surviving Elizabethan townhouse anywhere in Britain. This was a golden age when fabulously wealthy merchants invested in mansions like this, rich fittings and lavish entertaining. And Robert Wynn, who was the third son of a local landowner, wanted a piece of the action. He actually entered the service of Tudor Diplomats and travelled to the most splendid royal courts of Europe. His fortune made, he bought a mansion house in Conwy for £200, and between 1576 and 1585 he turned this into a celebration of his life, times and wealth. This is known as one of Snowdonia's most beautiful, but also most famous buildings. PLAS MAWR has quite the backstory and even featured on TV's Most Haunted. So if you're interested, have a look online for more information about that. So anyway, legend has it that this building is haunted by the ghost of Robert Wynn, who built it. Now we are outside at the moment at the back of the house, but in a little bit we'll be going back inside, so I'll carry on talking to you about the plaster work because we will be going back in. It's really interesting inside. Downstairs at the parlour on the ground floor there is a plaster shield that bears 3 severed heads of Englishmen, proudly displayed as part of the wall decoration. Now, this is the grisly coat of arms of EDNYFED FYCHAN. You've heard me talk about him before in our previous videos, but basically he was the chief counsellor to the Gwynedd Prince Llywelyn ap Iorwerth, or Llywelyn the Great, you might know him better as, and one of his very bravest soldiers. And the reason that they are here is that in 1570, the gentleman named Robert Gwynn, later known as Wynn, came to Conwy hoping to take advantage of the recently relaxed ruling. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Recently relaxed ruling regarding Welsh ownership of property within Conwy's town walls, a town established by naughty King Edward of England, Edward I, after the conquest of Wales in 1283, and so which was still in essence an English borough. Robert discovered that the middle plot of 3 on the west side of Crown Lane was for sale, and he purchased the lease on the property for £200, which was a considerable sum at the time, and sometime later he acquired the other 2 plots, which led to the development of this mansion between 1576 and 1586. Robert Wynn was the third son of John Wynn of Gwydir, a family who claimed descent from the Welsh princely dynasties of OWAIN Gwynedd and COLLWYN or Gothwyn ap TANGNO. Now, those of you that may know from the history lessons we've done here, COLLWYN ap TANGNO we haven't mentioned, or also he was called Gothwyn ap TANGNO. Now, he was the founder of the 5th noble tribe of North Wales. Now, Owain Gwynedd was the King of Gwynedd. You'll know this because we've talked about it. He was the King of Gwynedd from 1137 to 1170 and was also known as Owain the Great. So the family of Robert Gwynn, the Wynn family, claimed to be descended from these Welsh princely dynasties. So we remember that for now. As a third son, Robert didn't stand to gain much of the inheritance of his father. So what he did was he went to London to seek his fortune, like many young Welshmen have done many times before, I guess. He returned to Wales when he was about 35 years of age, and he then spent the next 15 years of his life seeing to business interests in North Wales. He amassed a huge fortune through trading interest in Conwy, and at the ripe old age of 50, he decided to marry, and the lady of his choice was Dorothy, daughter of Sir William Griffith of Penrhyn and Chamberlain of North Wales, and widow of William Williams of COLLWYN. Dorothy came from a longer and better established pedigree than that of the Wynns and counted EDNYFED FYCHAN among her ancestors. And so together, Robert and Dorothy had impeccable Welsh ancestral credentials and were very eager to display these on the walls of their fine new house. Just to digress for a minute, look at this. This is the ensuite. Look at that toilet. It's a bit different to the ensuite that we have in our house, but I suppose it was luxurious in those days. Coming up shortly, we'll see the hall, and this is where we encounter, you'll notice it when we get there, the exuberant and glorious plasterwork emblazoned with highly coloured emblems which bring the house alive, really, for me especially, and I think for anybody that goes in that room. And above the fireplace, the plaster, we're obviously in the bedroom now, but above the fireplace in the hall, the plaster over the mantle encapsulates everything that Robert Wynn wished to say to his guests. The Wynn family shield is made up of the eagles of Owain Gwynedd, quartered with COLLWYN ap TANGNO, who we mentioned previously. Now, the Tudor Rose, and here is the room I'm talking about. The Tudor Rose is prominently displayed, so too are the griffins of his father-in-law, Sir William, Griffiths, Sir William Griffith, and the stag heads of Iarddyd of Penrhyn, along with Robert's own initials R.W. It's fascinating, and these walls tell the story of ancient Welsh families whose descendants rose to positions of wealth, power and status in Tudor Wales. And the plaster motif at PLAS MAWR depicting the severed heads of 3 Englishmen is part of Dorothy Wynn's coat of arms, denoting that she is descended from EDNYFED FYCHAN, who was Llywelyn the Great's chief officer. Dorothy was the first wife of Robert Wynn, who built PLAS MAWR. Isn't that fascinating? And it is said that EDNYFED killed 3 of the chief captains of Ranulph, Earl of Chester, in battle, and as a result, he was ordered to replace the severed heads of Saracens on his coat of arms with those of 3 Englishmen. Whatever the truth of the story, the heads symbolise both a time when the Welsh were in conflict with the English and a time when they could again be proud of their ancestry and totally unafraid to demonstrate these ancient and revered connections. Us Welsh people are very, very proud of our country, our language, our culture, our heritage and our fascinating history. And I used to sit at my father's feet and listen to him and his friend speaking Welsh and joking Welsh and telling fascinating stories of their past. in Wales singing around the Welsh chapels and riding bikes along the seafront, and I was absolutely gripped with their love of Wales, really, of North Wales, and its fascinating history. But anyway, I won't go on. I think we'll leave it there for today. There's Conwy Castle, look. You can see that from the top of the tower. We're going to leave it there for today at PLAS MAWR in Conwy in Snowdonia, North Wales, and we'll say ta-ta for now, and we'll see you on the next adventure or the next Welsh lesson. Don't forget to keep practicing your Welsh, because practice makes perfect. Ta-ta for now. Nos da.